guilt. Race to world first after dark.
With Veyloris
and Kams.
Wow.
My friend, down at Blizzard, send you straight to jail.
I lost everything. That was 1925, the Great War. I won't tell you what I've seen siege damage do. I lost my wife. There were some bad days. My lungs are burning.
Hey guys, wake up!
Did Echo kill it?
Echo hasn't killed. Well, we did, baby.
Oh, where
What are those?
did we get these aprons?
Were we supposed to do
Who
the
are
cooking
you?
show?
I'm just going back on my jog. Have a good day.
Oh, okay. I'm taking the. You have one too. I'm taking this off. This is weird. Oh, I don't know. Oh, well, that's better. That's weird. That's a weird thing to have happen. All right.
Yeah, hey. How
Well,
long were we out?
I mean, how long could Halandras have lived?
He said it was dead. How did that guy know?
10 hours?
10 hours?
10 hours? I mean,
Is it?
It's Wednesday, right? Thursday?
Dude, it's Monday.
It's dark out. It's Monday night. Huh. Okay. Well, I guess. I mean, I guess we killed the boss. Do we have a replay of the boss? Can we see
Yeah,
the
I kind
boss?
of need to see something to prove it, because there's no...
Why? Yeah.
Can anyone help? There's like...
There's no
all
way.
these-
There's no way. There's no way. Show me. Show me the kill. Show me the kill or you're lying.
You don't know the lore. You don't know the lore.
I do.
Trail, do they have human form?
They have elf forms.
Amen.
Wait, actually, not a lore expert.
Wait, does Cinder
hey.
Ghost actually have a human form?
Except Chromie is not an elf.
Spread.
True, actually.
True, kinda.
But most of them are.
Chromie, well, Chromie.
She knows how to time travel though, so you're wrong saying.
Oh, yeah, time. Actually, yeah.
Yo, dispel.
Dispel.
Alright. Now we just fill
I'm muting every single healer.
I'm muting Domi.
I'm muting
I'm
Max.
gonna mute all of my.
I'm muting Max as well.
Okay.
I'm muting my bomb partner.
No.
Don't do that.
Good.
Do not
Alright.
ever do
Mind
that.
you.
Spread after this. Spread now and stop.
Stop.
No, don't stop. What
Stop.
the fuck?
Mate. What's up, bro?
Stop.
man.
It's a good time.
What's
I'm getting my
up?
cooldowns up.
Yeah, meat. Stop.
Dispel, James. Run away.
Reclaim. Spread.
Alright, James, stop hitting. King fight.
Dispel.
Damage check.
And stop.
James, stop. James, stop. Hard stop.
Go. Hard go.
Yeah, we're doing
Except
no damage.
James. Except James.
We
Check
might
the
get
logs.
two.
Double milk, sure.
Oh, double milk.
I always stop. I full turn around. I don't even look at the guy.
That's good.
My angle is correct,
Jesus.
if you know what I mean.
Yep. Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Newgate.
That's group 1 tech, by the way.
Yes, sir.
Hey, man, Group 1
Group
is
2
insane.
sucks.
Group 2 is
Amen.
bad.
Group 2 does suck.
Yeah.
It's crazy how Group 2 doesn't talk, eh?
to HCN.
Knock back in
They don't have
4,
any arguments.
3, 2, 1.
I missed the HCN
now.
morning show.
Spell,
Yeah,
please.
that was yesterday, bro. Catch the replay. Amen. HCN.
Amen. HCN.
Somebody's only.
Spread out here. Spread.
Replay,
mute check?
rewind, remix.
Okay,
Just
knock
barrel.
in 4,
Backside.
3, 2, 1. Now.
Time difference.
Make sure you pick up bombs.
Good calls, good calls.
Okay, moats in 8.
Spin and pick.
Moats now. Okay, spread here. Okay, here comes the spells now. Good at the entrance. The entrance is totally fine with the spells.
So me?
Well, it's just
Spell.
fucking across the map.
Be near your partner.
Okay,
Reclaim
you're
an 8.
muted.
Yeah.
I saw what happened there. Not Domi's fault.
Reclaim.
Ben did put it pretty far.
Go on the left twist and I'll take you soon. Bring Excel might help.
Okay.
Gucci.
It's ending in 3, 2, 1 now. Okay, now it's just proper push timing. Modes are spawning into one last spread. Spread. After this, now. Okay. Okay. 10.
Dispel.
Go. There. Make sure you get out in front. Don't miss the roars.
Newgate. Don't dispel me. Okay.
Okay. Knock back in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now. Spread.
Drop it, Nick. After you can drop it whenever, Nick.
Okay.
Okay. Another knockback in 15. We're chilling. Just get dispels here and the wind rushes down.
Bark Nori.
Okay. Knock in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now.
Dispel.
Spread here. Good. One last knock. 4, 3, 2, 1. Now. Lust. Remember, just focus on what you have to do here. Remember, range. Try to hold the immunities if you can and come in later. At the end of the fight, you come in with the bomb and without the bomb, but make sure a bomb does not get knocked, or ball does not get knocked into it. Hardest part of the phase, remember your drops here. Hard dodge range. Super careful. Good. Tank beams are coming ranged right now. Spread.
All right.
He's potted, right?
Yep.
It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Missiles are in 10. Missiles are in 8. This one is all personals. Nori won't have one. Just make sure you're good, Nori. Watch the range as you go by them. Personals in 2 seconds.
Tank
Spread
beams
out.
incoming.
Spread out. Spread out. Personal now. And tank beams are coming ranged.
I got these, Nick. Just heal.
Okay.
Okay. Light shatter beams ranged coming now. Range
Range
move in for
chill.
healing. You guys can use health pots and hellstones whenever you need to in this phase.
Might get lanced. Very good.
Okay. This is missiles in 15. That's going to be immunities if you need it, plus rally and AM. Ranged, you guys are getting tank beams in like 10 seconds. 15 seconds. Okay. Now spread. Rally AM. Or watch Malarcus. We're good. We're good. We're good. We're good.
Tank being soon.
Watch King fly. Tank beams coming
So
in.
just help soak now range when you're coming in.
Turtle
and just
soak
be
coming in 5.
Yep. Just keep drying up.
Big
Watch
turtle
Stim Tech,
soak.
there's a lot coming.
Yeah, I see
Nick
them.
barrier
I
and
got you.
melee
I got
if
you. I
can.
got you. Good
Nick
shit.
barrier and melee. Ranged, just come in, make sure you're good for healing, and get ready to immune soak and help. Just make sure a ball does not go in and a bomb does not blow up, and we got it, okay? Just soak
Coming
balls.
to turtle soon.
Yep.
I'm just
Just
gonna drop
lip,
it down.
lip go into turtle, lip go into turtle.
Extra?
Lip go into turtle, but just knock
Get the
balls.
spread book.
Yo, rip it, rip.
Absolutely amazing. That was.
Yeah, that's as. I mean, the only way to kill that boss is clean, but it's as clean as it gets.
Yeah, no, I mean, it reminds me a little bit of N'Zoth, where after that fight was dead, like the whole raid group was alive. You probably could have gone for another 3 or 4 seconds, you know, which is like a boss percentage, like at that rate of burn. I mean, that's a perfect boss kill. I mean, it took him 358 pulls, but that's as close to a perfect boss kill as you're gonna see. It's I mean, beautiful.
Yeah. And you see, like, I'd like to see how their P3s progress, because it felt like they went more into like a control of P3 rather than trying to burn at first. They realized, like, okay, we just need to like have people be bouncing these balls around, and we just need to live. As much as this phase sucks, we need to just figure out how to like live in it.
Yeah, no, I mean, and I think we saw, I think it was like their 5.7% pull the night before, and this is when everybody was like starting to get really hype. You know, nobody wants to leave the building because they're super afraid that they're going to miss the kill and all of that. But they just like bled out. Like they literally had 20 people alive, no balls, no bombs, nothing. They're just sitting there and just bleeding out. Like you see, it was like, you know, they're hanging on by the skin of their teeth, and then all of a sudden, like 5 or 6 people die at the same time because like just like straight up bars just getting lower and lower until they finally die. But that kill, I mean, they had a salve, and I think it was like a Devo and a rally, like that late into the fight, just all saved for that. I mean, it ended up being outrageously safe. That boss is nothing short of epic, and also I think it's vaguely confirmed, like at least the talk on the street is that there's going to be no changes to this boss until the race to world first is complete. So until a guild kills the jailer, Halandris is not changing. So there's no nerfs coming with reset tomorrow or anything.
Love it.
Yeah. I mean, it's I want to call that near unprecedented, right?
Yeah, I think so, especially with the boss like that. I mean, I can't even think of a boss like this before. Like, we were comparing it to Star Augur and some other ones like Dark Animus, because just quick wipes, but like that mechanically challenging and just instant death throughout the whole fight. I don't think there's been anything like that. Maybe KJ with all this, if you count the soaks.
Yeah. Well, the interesting thing is I was sitting there and, you know, preparing for tonight. I was like talking to Nagura, because Nagura, as you know, has more world first kills than anybody in this room, even when it's filled with all of Liquid's raiders, even though most of them are home. You know, she was with Method for, I think it was like a total like 5 or 6 world first end boss kills, which is incredible. And I was like, okay, so, you know, I'm wanting to place Halandris on like most difficult bosses, you know, in the modern era, right? And it's very unique in that a lot of bosses like Ashara, right, 538 or 537 for the pull count, but a lot of those pulls were onto a functionally unkillable version of the boss, and they were, you know, until after it was hot fixed. If you look at the version of the boss that was killed, the pull count is much lower. As soon as those nerfs came in, you saw like 6 or 7 kills within a couple of days. Compared to this, which I will be amazed if you see more than 2 kills. I mean, I guess that's a good question. Within a week, how many kills do you think there are going to be of this boss? 3?
By the end of next reset?
Sure.
3?
End of next reset.
I'll go 4.
4? Was lower than any of these other bosses that you'd be talking about besides possibly Dark Avatar, and we'll get to that. But I was going through and I was like, okay, so harder than, you know, Ashara. And like Fired Up was walking by and I was like, okay, so do you think this is harder than Ashara? He's like, yeah. And then I was talking to Gur and I was like, okay, so harder than Lei Shen? And she's like, yeah, easily. I'm like, harder than Dark Avatar? She's like, yeah. And I was like just going through all of these bosses that you normally think of as like, oh, that's the hard one. And she was like, yeah, definitely. The only bosses that I could find consensus in this room on that boss is not harder than would be like Methods kill Jaden, right? Not like everybody's KJ. I'm talking about like as soon as that boss was killable, 730 pulls in, sure, KJ. And then we're talking about UNAT, right? Again, or sorry, I guess KJ was like 680. UNAT 730. Sure, UNAT harder. I think UNAT has some room for wiggle there because, of course, that boss was nerfed super, super hard. It was never killed pre-nerf. But we'll give UNAT, sure. We'll show respect to that boss. So KJ, UNAT, and then Archimond was the one where Nagar was like, no shot. Archimond was harder than this, and like fair. That's a ridiculously high pull count boss, very very challenging, and also challenged I think players technically in terms of weak auras and strategy. Like I think if the weak aura hadn't been there, Archimond, I guess like I'll put it this way, the version that Paragon killed no add-on is like undoubtedly harder than Halandris, and that's it. And Dark Avatar too. Dark Avatar, Nagura was like, yeah, definitely harder. So since ICC, right, you're talking about the release of Cataclysm on December 6th or 7th in 2010, you have had 4 bosses harder than Halandris. That is the 5th hardest boss in the modern era of WoW, according to people who I would call rightly no. Again, it obviously there's some room for disagreement on that list as to exactly like there's room for opinions. Poll count's not the end all be all. Some people have different ways of evaluating difficulty, but I think it's certainly arguable to be in the top 10. Which is, it's the 7th boss of the instance. We still have Anduin, we still have Rygalon, and we still have Lords of Dread, and we still have, of course, the jailer himself that we actually have to be contending with. Halandris is a exceptional boss. It's hard to find end bosses that you can even compare him to. Harder than N'Zoth, harder than Sylvanas, harder than Jaina, harder than Ashara, harder than Goon.
Sorry, I'm choking up here. It's so beautiful.
Yeah, no, it's Kams has been vaguely dying off camera. It's the cigarette coming back to haunt him from the noir from last night. Sorry, of course.
Yeah, what was in that thing? That's the last thing I remember.
I love this music, like a lot. We just got the one riff. I love it a lot. He looked at himself in the monitor. Oh, yeah. It's been an adventure, though. I appreciate you for being here with us through all of that chat. Halandris obviously being something else. Kams, in your experience rating, you were with Liquid for a long time. What I'm forcing you at gunpoint, at squirt gunpoint. What's the closest comparison you'd make for this in your own experience?
Yeah, I would Star Augur, I guess, or Dark Animus. But again, I'm trying to think. I've not done a fight where you just have to do so many jobs constantly. And yeah, also usually like you're saying, these hard bosses, they normally get nerfed along the way, or there's a bug that they just bash your heads into. But there was a 10% health nerf, but that came somewhat early, and I don't know if it'd be killable with the 10% health, at least this reset. And
I would hazard not. That's a good question, though, as to whether it'd be killable or not. This reset. I mean, I don't think so, because we saw them Vantist on this boss as clean as a bean, cleaner than one could hope to be.
A great bean. Beans are good, by the way.
Beans are good. Yeah, beans are good. Yeah, clean as a bean. And they probably could have done 2 or 3 more %, but I mean, you just die at some point in that phase, right? I mean, I guess I would probably want to pick like Bubba's brain on that or something, to see. But I think you certainly would be not far off the truth if you claimed that the 10% version was unkillable this week,
because it does more damage to the raid and also sucks the balls in quicker. And at some point, you just don't have the bodies to knock the balls back far enough, then the beam comes and they're just zooming through the like death beam.
Yeah, and that's it's especially malicious because the boss does increased amounts of damage. Bumping back the balls does more damage to you, and they get sucked quicker. So it's actually an exponential damage gain in the sense that you're having to bump back more, and the bump back does more damage over time. So, I mean, Halandris just it's 10% longer is such a catastrophically long time in the context of that, and say nothing of the fact that I don't even recall what they were in the kill video, 10 or 15 seconds off of the next Earthcracker, which that would have been brutal. Yeah, like at a certain point, like
or impossible even.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think the conversation is probably important to steer towards Echo a little bit. I think they're currently just over 300 pulls on that boss. Their best pulls, like 4.2% or something of the like, which is great. And they're obviously about 50 pulls short of where we just killed it. It raises the interesting question though, where Liquid killed the boss today at, what was that? Like it was 1:30, I think, or so, which is about 2.5 days into their final day before reset. So the clock is basically Echo needs to kill the boss within the first, let's say, 3 hours of their raid day, or they strictly lost time during their first week of raiding, which is astoundingly unusual that they would have lost time relevant, because typically what you see is guilds, as they're catching up, go way faster. Like that means that all of the information that they had on the first 5 bosses, right? So Vigilant Guardian, whatever, but certainly like Zymok, having timers for that boss and having very specific ideas of strategy for that boss. Like you can look at the pull counts. Historically speaking, those pull counts are lower. That means that functionally they would have just taken longer to kill Halandris, and it's conceivable they kill it within the first 3 hours of their raid day tomorrow. But the difference is it's like that doesn't catch them up. That just makes them not further behind. Like there's a ton of pressure on them just to even see Anduin a little bit more and start getting comfortable on the boss.
And then if they get to Anduin and then they get further than Liquid has, unless they turn streams off, they're just giving them info while they're getting more gear, and like that's not great for them. And also I think last night Liquid knew they could kill it, and so it was like, well, we'll come in here and kill it tomorrow, but we'd rather kill it now. And I think even though there's the time difference and technically they're not like fully behind, just seeing that it was killed and you can kill it is like, it can just mess with your head. And like raiding is a mental game as much as anything.
Yeah, I mean, I would call it. I mean, I don't want to infer anything too much, but I mean, I just based on what I've seen of the streams, it seems like there's like definitely a little bit of tilt. I mean, and don't get me wrong, like there have been moments where you could look at our streams and be like, yeah, the raid's just tilted out of their minds.
For sure.
But it's definitely. I mean, it's a very frustrating boss, and it's a boss that is much more satisfying to be fighting for a lead on than fighting to not be behind on. And it's such a psychotic boss in terms of just pitting you against your teammates. When you're playing super well and then the pull just ends because somebody else did something stupid. It doesn't matter if you've done something stupid in the past hour. It's still just like, that was a perfect pull. Why'd you just run into the ball? It's a very, 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 very brutal encounter, in both terms of execution, but also just the fact that like you're having to be okay with your teammates messing up constantly for what is undoubtedly going to be, a 300, 400 pull boss.
Yeah, for sure. And you could see there's been, clips of like a bomb. I mean, one thing that's not been talked about on this boss a lot, I think, is that when you have the debuff, if you touch another bomb, you just like die. And that includes like if somebody is on top of you and they just drop their bomb and then it just instantly kills you. So you have to be like careful that your partner doesn't drop it on your head. And I saw a clip of like a bomb getting dropped on someone's head and they just like, oh, and you just know, and then they just have to pull it again and they cannot let that into their brain.
Yeah. Especially because everybody is occupying, it's like at the point where you're 200 pulls into a fight, everybody has their habits, right? Like people are standing at very, very specific spots in the room. People are doing very, very specific things, pull over pull. And you're going to see the same people making the same error because they're doing the same job, right? And it's just, it's the nature of the fight. It's a very, very challenging fight. But you just have to be completely okay with that. I don't know. I've got absolutely no baseline for comparison of that in my own experience of raiding. Besides possibly Star Augur, which obviously we've talked about, just doesn't even come close. And does not even come close.
Yeah.
How many trines did you deal with in the course of Star Augur? 5?
What was it? That few?
Yeah,
maybe like 2 a phase, and then the last phase was like really short.
Yeah, I think it was like. I think it was single digit, right? I mean, it's like maybe it was. So 2 a phase. So you dealt with it. You dealt with 1 at the very start of the fight.
Yeah.
I remember before you phased. So it was like 95%, and then you dealt with another one going into ice. I think you dealt with 2 in ice. So 3. You dealt with 2 in fell. So 5, and then maybe you deal with 2 in the last phase. That's 7. I mean, and that's it. And you compare that to this, and it's like as soon as you're into phase 2. Every 15 seconds, somebody is having the chance to wipe the raid. And not just somebody, 6 people in your raid.
Yeah.
And it's not even every 15 seconds. That's not even correct, because it's every time that a tank debuff comes out, or every time that you're near somebody else with the debuff, or anytime you're near an orb. Or I was like, the list of instant failure states for this fight is, longer than any other. Like if you were to just write out in terms of computer logic, what are the failure states for this boss? It's such a long list compared to any other boss. On Star Augur seems funny in comparison.
Yeah, and I think the world first for that was 120 pulls, and I thought it'd be at least over 200, maybe closing on 3, but that's just off the guild I was in, the way we struggled with it. But if you get the players in there who know what they're doing, they can deal with it really easily. And another thing, too, is this was this many polls with a team of analysts and an outside of the raid caller, or if not 2, I don't know if Tags is calling cooldowns, but that's a new thing for the world race, relatively. And even KJ didn't have that kind of stuff. So it's as the guilds get better and the prep and the analysts and all that thing improve, it's getting harder and harder to be 300 kill boss versus 300 kill boss. It's it's not really the same quality of 300 polls.
Yeah. I think Star Augur was killed pre-nerf, though. It was, right? It was not changed in the first week, and then it was brutally changed after the first reset, given the absolute difficulty of that boss. That and Elisand, who both just had the same problem of having very undertuned outgoing damage, but very overtuned health checks. Compared to Halandris, which is kind of just it's your healers are going to be stretched to the absolute limit, but also you have to do infinity damage. Have fun. We saw them. I think the best thing I can think of to emphasize, if you haven't been playing game forever, this is the first time that we've had the correct decision be Vantis, a non-end boss.
Yeah.
That's always been a mistake, historically speaking, because of course you're going to be at the end boss before the week is over.
Credit to you. You called it. You said this is the Vantis boss. I think...
not soon enough, but I did call it.
Not soon enough, but I guess they didn't know that either. They were kind of making progress, and then at some point it was oh, this boss is kind of nuts. We're not throwing. This boss is just that hard.
Yeah, which is a weird thing, because on a boss like this, and it's funny. I mean, the shit posts that have come from this on the competitive WoW subreddit in particular are amazing. I'm so disappointed in the race to world first players. Every single pull, they just wiped to somebody doing something dumb. If they were in my raid, they'd be sad. And it's just... That's just phenomenal. Can't wait for those players and their genius guilds to get there. if you keep up with that subreddit, you know the exact post I'm talking about, and it is.
Oh, there was like an actual.
Oh, this is like almost word for word off of an actual post a allegedly living, breathing human like wrote. No flame, obviously, on the OP. I think you are misinformed, but we're all entitled to our opinions.
Absolutely.
Yeah, no brigading, kids, but it is I have no doubt you will see that brilliant thinker's words repeated ad nauseum as a copy pasta, echoing through the halls of the race to world first for eternity. I think people really underestimate the power for very simple mechanics repeated over and over and over and over and requiring perfect execution every single time to be hard. I
mean, even think like you can go to a target dummy and to do your rotation literally perfect for like 10 minutes is kind of hard. It's very hard, actually. Like if you're doing nothing but your rotation, you're going to mess something up over that amount of time. So like, and that's something you do on every boss, on everything, all the time, and you still make mistakes.
Yeah, I know. I mean, that's a good point. It's like if you think a fight like this is easy, like just go to a target dummy, just do your rotation perfectly for 10 minutes, like just straight up 10 minutes, just sit there. You can jump if you want, but 10 minutes, sit there, just slam that dummy. And like at the end of it, like sim yourself, see if you did your sim DPS. You probably didn't. You made mistakes. You weren't playing to the maximum thing, which is just like, I mean, the rotations are not deterministic and complicated if you're thinking about anything at all, and just the focus on doing that for 10 minutes. Like it's I don't know. This is going to be a very talked about boss fight forever. I do not think we will have another boss that looks like this ever.
Yeah, I don't think so either. Like, I don't know if let's think. So Anduin's probably about another 10-minute boss. He just goes through his fight and then enrages, right? There's no checks other than like the monstrosities. Like if there's add checks, but I don't think the boss actually has damage checks. So he's not that long. I'm just trying to think of like, if anything's going to get to this pull count in this raid. Do you think anything's going to like, is this going to just be the actual hardest boss of the raid?
I mean, I think on the desk, the wisdom has been, like there's no way anything in this raid is harder. I mean, Anduin doesn't necessarily look harder yet, but we also haven't seen it all. I think their best pull coming out of tonight was like 71%, and that's like 70 pulls in. Yeah. But I also, it's definitely a boss with like one of those like leaps and bounds types progression where like, you kind of get over that wall. They got over that first monstrosity. Actually, it might have even been sub 70. I don't even recall what it was. But I think once you see them really dial in this fight and optimize, I think the percentage on it drops. 72.45. I forgot this is just literally on screen right there. I think once you see them optimize in any ways, this is going to drop fast. It reminds me a little bit of a Fallen Avatar, actually, where the boss percentage matters, but it's one of those things you kind of dial in later in progress when it comes to perfectly milking the shields and all of that. It's a fight that you really want to have flawlessly mechanically before you're necessarily putting every ounce of effort in as far as damage goes, because mechanically you can see the whole boss prior to actually like really doing it. And of course, Anduin's probably going to be pretty well known for having those 200% damage amp burn phases that, when optimized for, I think it's going to be Venthyr Boomkins, man.
You think they're coming in? Come back.
What does more damage than Venthyr Boomkin on a 3-minute damage cycle in a 20-second long burn?
Yeah.
I don't think there's a class. I mean, maybe there's like something crazy niche, but
as long as I can save CDs. I mean, we'll see next week with the gear. That'll help a lot. But those monstrosities, like, that's where the difficulty in this fight seems to be. Is like, can you kill this ad that quickly? And that's just a gear thing and a comfort thing.
Yeah, gear is going to trivialize that a lot, and that's also dude, I love Venthyr Boomkins for that, right? Like you're in your ramp right when you need to kill those A-bombs, right? So you can be ramping on Anduin, doing a bajillion, quadrillion, infinite damage, and then you just like tab target some of those star surges into the A-bomb to help finish it off, and that's super short burn window. based on what we've seen, I know people have been like conjecturing on nerfs. I think Nagura thought there might be nerfs. I mean,
to Anduin?
Yeah. Well, because the A-Bomb's health, like for this lockout of gear, man, is bonkers. And I know, like, going into this week, I think a lot of people thought it was conceivable that Anduin would be catching the Vantis rune if it was a slow raid. But they're actually going to be progressing progressing Anduin with no Vantis rune because they can't Vantis because it's very conceivable. I mean, I like how weird this is compared to any other race. I'm like, it's Monday night and they're 7 bosses in on the 8th, and I'm like, it's conceivable they see the last boss before the end of the second lockout. Like that's, there's just no comparison. The last time that we didn't see the last boss before the first reset was, I think, Lei Shen.
Yeah, and what raid went to a third lockout?
Archimond.
That makes sense, because that seemed like it may have been tuned around rings.
I think technically Raden did, but that's cheating because he's limited attempts, and they didn't kill him in their first week of limited attempts. Lei Shen died second lockout, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I was trying to think of it too, and it'd either be like a KJ, a Lei Shen.
KJ definitely went to the third lockout because if I recall correctly, the raid came out July 28th, and then I think they killed it on, June 28th, and then I think they killed it on July 17th or something like that. Don't quote me on these dates, but I think so that would be third lockout. But see, it's again, and that comes to the weird comparison, right? Where it's like, but is KJ, I mean, and KJ's hard, and I'm willing to, I'm not going to sit here and be like, but Holandris is harder. I don't know. Nagura's opinion, and I agree with this, is KJ was probably harder. But it does, like, when you compare pull counts, like, it's interesting because, like, KJ died relatively quickly after its last round of nerfs. And a lot of the pulls they spent, like, that fight was incredibly bugged. It needed a ton of hot fixes, like, notoriously so.
There's a great video of it, too. Does it show you the pre-nerf stuff, and it's just, like, actually impossible?
Yeah, and so you'd have these pulls. I mean, it's almost exactly like Stone Legion Generals, right? And it's like Stone Legion Generals, like that, dude, they one-shot that on the reclear because it worked better. Like, I mean, Stone Legion Generals, don't get me wrong, it's like a hard boss, but like, I mean, gosh, I wish I'd asked like Bubba or somebody this question, but it's like, what do you think, how hard do you think Stone Legion Generals was pre-nerf? Like, sorry, post-bug fixes. Mm-hmm. Like, how many pulls? 100? 150?
Yeah, what was it? They were like 290 or something?
They were 290, but I just mean, like, if they pulled the version that was fixed, that they pulled the second week. No nerfs, just fixed. How many pulls?
Yeah, probably like 150, maybe 120 to 150-ish.
Yeah, and that's a respectable second to last boss, but it's nowhere near the like 300-ish that it weighed in at. And so a boss like KJ, it's like, I think that pull count is significantly, and UNAT as well, is significantly inflated, and Ashara. All of these bosses that were killed post-nerf, like that pull count is a really bad indicator of difficulty just because there were nerfs, and Holandris is so unusual in that it was killed with no nerfs, and the pull count is just so insanely high. Like even Dark Avatar, I think got nerfs before being killed, right?
Possibly. I can't remember.
Yeah, it's I don't know. It's a stupendous boss fight. I'm not sure.
Yogg Zero.
What's that again?
Yogg Zero.
Dog Zero.
Yogg Saron.
Oh, Yogg Zero.
That one was I mean, that's so far back.
It was 500 is the number I have in my spreadsheet for that, but what do you even...
a weird era.
That was never nerfed, right?
I'm not sure. Maybe that's like so long ago that rating was so different and like less standardized. Yeah, that was Dream, right? Or is that Stars? It was either Stars or Dream, Taiwanese guild that killed it. And I forgot this like little last bit of Arcana. I realized this when I was going through and updating my spreadsheet. Do you know that, and this is totally unrelated to Holandris, but just a little trivia. Do you know Dream actually got world first on Alakir? No. Yeah. I thought that was Paragon. Everybody thinks it's Paragon. And it was like, but Paragon, killed it 2 days later. Just a little bit of, because, and again, this is a topic that I kind of want to, cover at some point on the show is like, dude, like non-EU, non-US regions, specifically, like I'm kind of lumping Korea, China, and Taiwan all in there together. Those three regions are like historically extremely good. I mean, the example I always point to is for BFA, every boss except for N'Zoth, they Alpha had a world third kill on, and then N'Zoth was world fifth for Skyline, I believe.
It's like dude. Like if US had been knocking out world thirds that consistently, everybody'd be like, dude, we're really good right now. Like the US is competitive. Like they can get a world first any moment. But people are always like, Aster's the thing, dude. China's finally going to be relevant. It's like China's been relevant. It's just a kind of a general like amount of ignorance, I guess.
Yeah, and I mean we do see 3 of them on there: Skyline, Aster, and something.
Yeah, thanks to the Race to World First, I think, particularly the event that in London, that was the first event where we had coverage of like Alpha and JTH, and we were really starting to talk about that dialogue. And because it was a broadcast event and we had partnerships with those guilds, we actually started getting like more live. Usually they were like 2 or 3 days lagged, if at all. We started getting those updates, and that's kind of carried through to now. And so as a result, these guilds, I guess what I'm saying is like, so Skyline, Aster, and then I think number 10 is JTH. Those guilds have always been there. It's just that we weren't aware that they were there. And I mean, we always talk about this, for Europe having a 16-hour disadvantage, but compared to the US, China has a 29-hour disadvantage. Yeah. That sucks. They are basically as far behind Europe as Europe is behind us in terms of releases, which is, not going to rehash that one right now, especially so close to European waking hours.
Yeah. And it's like, I feel like the NA players get blamed for it for some reason, but it's just a weird like artifact of an old internet game.
Yep. Well, and this is my solution that I'm pitching to you, Blizzard. I'm looking deep into your hearts. Just move everybody's lockouts to Tuesday. They can still be at the same time relative. So it can be at 2300 UTC for Taiwan, which is like 7 p.m. in the US. And then the US can keep our reset. We can keep it at 11 our time, or whatever that is. I think it's 1300 UTC. And then Europe, you can have your 6-hour advantage. You can have your reset at I think it's 0400 or 0300 UTC. Great. That's fine. Just have them all on the same day. So everybody's, instead of having a 16-hour disadvantage, everybody's in the raid within 16 hours of each other. How great would that be? And who cares? There's still going to be a bit of an advantage, disadvantage, etc. That's fine. That's great. I just want them to be like, so the point where you're not seeing like Tuesday, Wednesday for EUNA. Like just have them all on the same day within a couple of hours, and like problem is not solved, but close enough.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I can't think of that, or just global, and then people do weird sleep schedules and stuff. That's, I mean,
which is
the other way.
Worse. Yeah, I mean, that's the other way, but that's like worse because it's like that they have to pick a release time, and then you're going to have to hear about it, right? And it's like it's a race. It's like, I mean, it is a race, but it's like because of the unique nature of the race and the global nature of the race, I think it's very hard to like totally level that out. Anyway, I don't want this to be an episode about talking about the differences between EUNA and then, further east regions, or further west, really, when you think about it. It's a globe.
Yeah, you go far enough east, you're west.
Maybe that's getting a little controversial, though. I don't know. But I think we've wandered far enough off topic that we can call this a crab cake. I don't know.
I had a crab cake tonight.
Did you? How was it?
It was good.
Nice.
Yeah.
See, Halandris, we always joke about Halandris being a crab, but like, dude, it's like metal. That'd be the worst crab cake ever. Cut your mouth up. Captain Crunch style.
So what do you think for tomorrow?
I think they're going to refarm, and I think Halandris is going to die in single-digit attempts. That's the pitch I've been giving. I said one. A single attempt tomorrow. First shot. One shot. First shot. One shot. Bang. Halandris dead. Yeah.
I'm going sub 5. But
sub 5. I can appreciate that, but that's just, I'm taking the stance there. Like, listen, I'm a Halandris believer forever. Easy one shot, no problem, and they're on to Anduin. And I think with the reset, Anduin is probably going to fall. I wasn't saying tomorrow night, but I think certainly early Wednesday, and then we'll probably see Rygalon or Lords of Dread die sometime Wednesday, and then I imagine we'll be pulling Jailer late Thursday night. If I had to give a schedule, that's what that schedule would be.
Late Thursday, I think they'll get to Anduin tomorrow, kill him Wednesday. Lords of Dread will be somewhat easy. Rygalon maybe takes most of a day. And then they're on Jailer. I don't know what day of the week that puts me at.
It's like Thursday, basically. Same thing. Yeah, it's like sometime Thursday, late. I think maybe even like earlier Thursday, later Thursday, sometime on Thursday afternoon.
Oh, I'm excited.
I'm excited too.
We're past the crab. There's a lot of mechanics and bosses to get to.
Yeah, and the crab is single-handedly responsible for the absurdity of this raid so far. Just for context, that means we are going to be getting to the final boss of this raid the same day that we beat Nazoth.
That's pretty crazy.
That is...
I wonder if this is a new thing they want. I don't think Blizzard really knew this boss was going to be this much of a wall. But then they just like stuck it out because it was so deep into it, which I kind of respect.
Yeah. I mean, I like the decision to not nerf it. I mean, I think it's better for the integrity of the race. I also think it makes the race fucking long.
Is it going to be a long boy?
Yeah, it'll be a long boy. And that's fine, right? Some races are going to be long, some races are going to be short, and it's the last tier of the instance, or last tier of the expansion. This is the kind of instance you want to be, you know, just very, very hard. And I think we're achieving that.
Yeah, I'm excited.
All right. Well, I think that is going to be it from us tonight. Thank you so much for joining us on our crab cake infused journey to defeat Halandris. But we are here at the end of the NA's first lockout. All we can do is go back to sleep, pray for some good loot, and leave, I guess. Also, we can shout out our sponsors because I know what I'm doing. All right. So shout out to our sponsors, Coinbase Wallet, Jersey Mike's, Secret Lab, Honda, Twitch, and Alienware. And of course, shout out to our charity sponsor, the United Nations Refugee Agency. You can, of course, donate to them at, let's see, it's tl.gg/UNHCR. So
you got it.
I did. You know that? Oh, I did get it. You're right. Yeah. Kams knows everything. We should know this by now. Thank you so much for joining us. Kams, any final words?
No, the crab's dead. I'm fried.
Is that a pun? Hello? Is that a pun? Pun?